Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for episode 9 of season 3 of Papa Book 2 Ghost, our recap review show. Which indeed tonight we're going to have a lot to talk about. What an insane episode. I already know you all are buzzing about all the different cameos or returning characters, theories, plot points, all that other good stuff. All for all of you all to be so excited while we're only going to talk about Baby Yaz today because that's all I care about. Rest in peace to my man Sax. And that's the show for tonight.
There you go.
What's up,
I mean,
Lucas?
it's an amazing episode 9.
Yeah.
I mean, finally we get the Star of Power returning. It feels like it's been so long.
Yeah.
Since Yaz has graced us with her amazing presence on screen.
And shall I say, I absolutely called this last week when I said it makes sense that this is what we needed for this episode. While I did think it was a little bit of a reach, but I'm surely glad that they went through with the execution of us seeing Tasha. We got 2-Bit, we got Yaz, we got Big G Mom. Who else? Tommy, who canceled Christmas.
You're forgetting the biggest one, the biggest reveal of this episode.
What is?
Oh, I gotta tell you, I thought you saw it. Did you miss it? Of course, that was Ghost that hit Tariq over the head. We know it. He's back. He's back, people.
Yeah.
That's going to be everyone's conspiracy for the next week.
Uh-huh.
I know that was Ghost. Who else would hit Tariq over the head? It wouldn't be nobody else. It wouldn't Big Mom. It wouldn't Tasha. Who else would it be?
Well, let's start with that. Again, folks, this is episode 309, A Last Gift. You know what we do here. We're going to start at the top of the episodes and go down through the list of events and give you all our thoughts, our reactions, our theories, all that other good stuff. We encourage you all to do the same thing. But we're going to start at that point because I know you all are dying right now in the comments to talk about it. Who was that knocked out Tariq? So, Lucas, we'll let you get your prediction off first. Who do you think it is and why?
That's some BS.
If you can just plead the fifth or pass it, it's up to you.
I don't know, just because again, I immediately eliminated Tasha and Big Mama. Clearly, it's not Yaz. She doesn't believe in violence, so we're not even going to go there. So it literally had to be someone who saw him possibly going to kill Tommy and then decided, no, not going to let you kill Tommy.
Yeah.
I know the comparisons I know the person people are going to think it is clearly not him, but I just don't know who it could possibly be unless it's a connective tissue to something.
Wait. Who do you think it is? No, leaving any open-ended thoughts here. Who do you think?
Oh, I don't know.
No. You said you know who you think everybody gonna think it is. I know you were joking.
Ghost.
Oh, okay. You still
I'm
with Ghost.
not joking.
Okay.
That's who people are going to think it is, because it got to be someone who wouldn't want him to kill Tommy. Yeah. Who the hell else wouldn't want Tariq to kill Tommy?
Yeah. Is it my turn?
Yep.
I'm gonna go a little bit wild here. I'm gonna say that it is Tasha. I think Force could use Tasha. It's an interesting thought that I haven't put together, but a lot of people have not been really rocking with Force, which we love Force, and you know why I love Force. Tommy Flanagan's my guy. There's a lot of folks, a lot of folks I talk to, a lot of folks that kind of chime in the comments, say like Force is the weakest of the series, of the universe right now, of all of the 3 series. And
Force
I think
also is the only one with 1 season,
right? But again, I'm not rationing with them, but I do think that Tasha, Natari Newton, going to the Natari, not Newton, Natari. What is her last name? Slipping out of my head. Anyway, but Natari going to Force, I think, could absolutely raise should I say raise the audience, the viewership, but I also think it raises the stakes. And I think it starts to make that show feel a little bit more familiar to the original Power, which could obviously help with ratings. I don't know how it's doing ratings. I know that it had an amazing premiere. I know that we loved it. But I think that her moving to Chicago. What I think would actually happen was Tasha wanted to stop the violence. She pleaded that said, "Hey, listen, you leave him alone. I will go with you. You have me. Just let my family be okay." And I think that moves her to Chicago. We get Tasha and Tommy running things, and I think you sort of run like a dynamic of like how Tasha helped Ghost, but it's with Tommy. And I think we truly get to see Tasha's brain pot. Now, Tasha did get that nod earlier in the season about being the brains of the family. We've always said that. I know a lot of folks did not agree, but we've always, since day one, said Tasha was legitimate. And if you really listen to the series, you know that Tasha was a big part in helping Kanan, Tommy, and Ghost. So to see her sort of operate with a one-on-one with Tommy could be establishing something that makes it feel a much like the original Power, which again could lure returning fans and audience back to that show, the show that probably needs it the most. That would just be my logical theory. But if I had to go with a wild card here, it would have to be somebody else who else got a letter. And we know Too Big got a letter. And I think that one's kind of tight end. I don't think there's nobody else that would have any damn do with that. But could it be the name that you said earlier? And I don't know how they make it happen or how they make it work. And what's the relevance here? But my wild card prediction would be, could it be Alicia Marie, who could have got a note from Sachs? Absolutely could have, because Sachs also hit her. Could it be her?
It would have been the force of someone it takes to knock Tariq out that would make me say no to her.
But we don't know how older she got. You know, you did say that, and I didn't. She'll be about Tariq's age.
She would be about 20, a little younger than Tariq.
Yeah,
but like, because then she would have to find out Tasha's whereabouts. That would be.
But again, Sachs got the letter, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know how it works, but I think the wild card prediction is that Sachs sending her a letter completely makes sense. Too Big got a letter, so like, if Too Big got a letter, it's not far-fetched for Alicia Marie to also get the same letter of saying, "I know you got beef with that family, with Tommy."
No, her beef would be with Tommy.
But don't forget.
So she wouldn't save Tommy.
Oh, but don't forget. But again, yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how it plays out, but her getting a letter, I think can make sense. But how else it plays out, it's Power, man. You know, people got jetpacks and teleporting pads.
Even with Tasha leaving off with Tommy, why would Tommy leave her alive? He literally went there to kill her. He didn't go there to like save her. He went to kill her. And it's because whatever he got his information told him that Tasha was snitching on him. That's why he wants Tasha dead.
And he's always felt that way, you know?
Yeah. So I don't think this is a situation where he would want her alive. He would want her dead.
So what I'm not going to do is I'm going with theories, but I haven't completed a complete story. Y'all know how we do here. We watch the episode, we jump in here, we do the review. So I haven't thought this fully fleshed out. But again, my more logical prediction is that it's Tasha. My wild card will be that it would be Alicia Marie. And how and why that makes sense, I don't know. But we'll see if it plays out. Who?
Monet.
The other one would also be, could it also be somebody from Force who potentially came with Tommy, who has had eyes on Tommy at the end of it? Could it be somebody like
none of them were really looking out for Tommy though. In the end, like Diamond wasn't looking out for Tommy. Like, I think the key part would be anybody who would be looking for Tommy would have wanted Tommy dead. So Tariq is two birds in one stone. It literally has to be someone who doesn't want Tommy dead and didn't want Tariq dead. It's got to be someone who will clean break.
So this gives me a couple of like when you think about Force, it gives me a couple of names. It could be JP because he's not about killing family, but he's not going to let his brother get killed. It could be D-Mac. Again, the same scenario where I'm watching my uncle. That's my family.
D-Mac in the hospital. D-Mac.
Oh, that's right. That's right. But again, no. We don't know. We don't know how much time has passed. We don't. This wasn't yesterday. You know, we don't know what could have happened. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of different theories that could happen, but I think like there is still a realm of small possibilities of some of these names that could be. Like D-Mac could be out. He could say, I don't want my uncle to get killed, but this seems to be my cousin. So let me just knock him out. We'll chop this up. Tasha, you got to come with us because you're a liability to the
Lisa
family.
Marie, it's a better chance of that being Cash.
It could be Cash. That's another good one. It absolutely could be Cash.
Cash would only be like 16. So
yeah, but again, it doesn't matter. And then again, I mean, I was thinking at first, like, could it be somebody like Claudia? Could Claudia have some stake with Tommy? You know, she's always had a little eye for Tommy this entire time. Could she be protecting him? Could she just be watching him from afar?
I'm gonna go with the audience here. Of course, it's James. Of course, it's James.
But yeah, you know,
he kidnapped Tasha with Tommy so he could do the little finger point thing to her forehead again. Like, you dumb motherfucker, what you think you get away with?
It's Natari, not Noddington. There we go, Noddington. I was calling her Newton. Natari Noddington.
Hey, shout out to them for shooting this so long ago, because this clearly was shot a good, I'm going to say 7 months ago.
Yeah, but I mean, she had a small scene, so they could have easily worked around it. We've definitely seen folks completely pregnant working in the road that she wasn't.
She pregnant.
Yeah, she's pregnant now. Yeah. But I mean,
shot so long ago.
That's the thing. We know, like,
that's the wing with power. They shoot right
because they're filming the next season right now, so we know that like they're that far ahead, which means that. And again, I wasn't even gonna get into this, but again, that's why I'm thinking like. Well, that moves Tasha off of Ghost. She can't actually be filming right now while she's completely celebrating all the wins of her life, which means she's not available for filming. But if you move her to Force season 2, I believe is done. So
I think whatever we get in episode 10 will close out
Tasha's story. Yeah, but that's not the end of Tasha's character.
Power. I think any power. Not saying she's going to die. But I think anything that happens will close her out. You won't see her again until another season of Ghost happens. Because they're very keen on wanting Force to be completely separate from everything else.
But then why bring Tommy?
Connected to because Tommy doesn't need to be separate. Tommy can't be separate from Tariq. But with Tommy moving on, no one needs to cross over to where Tommy is. Tommy even completely different. Like, his thing is side characters. I can see 2-Bit crossing over to Force before you
possibly
Tasha or Tariq, because they're just too big to be on that show. I
definitely think we're going to see Tasha on Force, and I think you all can make your predictions right now in terms of how this is all going to play out, because I think
we all know
filming schedule. I think Force works for her.
Just faking.
I think
know it's James.
I would never.
He came back for the Queen's Child's Project. He found out Tariq was losing in the Western Holdings and said, you know what? Fuck this dead stuff. I'll see you later, Tupac. I'll come back on our island later. And I tell you what, get the Queen's Child's Project back.
I tell you what, though, the more you keep talking about it, if I hadn't already think that he was dead, this is absolutely the way you do it.
Hey, it's the perfect way to do it.
The only problem with it is this is episode 9. This is absolutely episode 10 material right here. Like, this ends the season. Like, you
they because want you to know, they want you to be eager.
Yeah, but not only that too. Like, you got another episode to be very careful about the potential cliffhanger, and then you still need time to get James to get him on board, because if they decide to pitch this idea of like, hey, we got a way to bring you back, he still has to be willing to do so. And like, I think it was another show. What show was it? It's coming to my mind. Oh, was it Your Honor? There was another show. Oh, no, it's not. I know what it is. But it was another show I watched, and they left the cliffhanger so open that they can go so many different ways. It's Criminal Minds. If anybody's watching Criminal Minds Evolution, the very end of Criminal Minds, they left the possibility to bring Reed back, but if Reed doesn't want to come back, they also left very 2 strong options in terms of characters that are already there. And I think you have to do something like this if you really want to bring Omari back. This has to be episode 10, and y'all need to bring the Brinks truck to his house, to his favorite brunch spot, to where his kids play at. That Brinks truck need to be on his ass every moment, because I'm telling you, he will be ratings, and you will return a long list of fans back knowing that he comes
But
back. And I mean,
that would cause so many problems.
But listen, every win, force numbers will be up. Ghost numbers will be up. It'll be indefinitive what the best show is at that point. And the fact that the show is called Ghost will be wild. It will be wild.
I think we may be forgetting someone who's obvious because we just watched it and hop on here recording. So we're not like putting our thinking caps on of other possible characters that still is connected to them that we're not thinking of right now. Look, I was trying to deep dive. I said, Terry? I said, no, he dead. He was in the trunk, Dad. That's not him. I'm trying to think. Sean? Nah, Sean dead. I'm trying to think of the people that possibly knew Tasha who would do this, or people that knew Tommy, or people who Sax would send another letter to tell them where Tasha is.
Right.
Hell, it could have been Tamika who hit Tariq. I don't know who hit Tariq.
That was literally my first thought. Is interesting. Could be Tamika, but I think the best way, and again, folks, y'all can go crazy in the comments. Let us know your theories. I think, again, for me, I do have my wild card guess in terms of it being Alicia Marie, because I think she's very capable of getting that letter, and how they make it work is how they make it work. They got time to figure that out. But then I think the more
Tasha screwed over,
the
stripper girl in the daycare.
Stop
Tasha
it.
Screwed over.
Long gone. Yeah, stop it. Stop it. But then it could be Tasha, where Tasha just knocks out Tariq and says, listen, I'll go with you. Just leave Tariq alone. I will go with you, because he's going to keep coming.
Instead of her going with Tommy, it could be Tasha saying, hey, this is too close of a call. I can't be around Yaz and my mom. They need to stay in Woodsack. I need to go somewhere else because it's no longer safe here.
Again, and again, I think that by Tommy saying fine, I'll take it. It's a lot of reasons why this happened. You pick up the next scene, they're talking, they're discussing how it's going to work. She says she's going to go. You leave my family, you leave Tariq alone. We'll talk about it a little bit more because we need to get into it, because I feel like we definitely are on the deep end now. But you all let us know in the comments.
We pulled the rabbit out the hat of multiple people this could be.
Yeah. And you say all this debunking, but don't give a name. You're like, nope, can't be, nope,
oh, I'm not
nobody. And then jokingly say
I'm
Ghost.
I'm just not sure.
No, you probably are sure. You probably think it's Ghost for real. That's probably what it is. You just don't want to admit it.
He's dead. So I know he's dead. So
it was Courtney Kemp who returns as a character.
I was about to say it was Courtney Kemp.
But I know some of you,
because clearly he comes back alive every couple years.
Yeah.
So it could be Kanan.
Yeah, I know you all going to have some interesting theories. So let's have it. But anyway, let's start in the top of the episode. We got Kanan and Tariq both scrambling in their different ways in terms of the news, not only of Kane finding out that Lauren's alive, but Tariq after Sax's murder. And they're doing all this scrambling until they eventually meet at Davis's office, where Kane comes in and blames Tariq for everything. Everything that's bad happened to my family is because of you. Calls him T'Challa, by the way, which I was like, come on now. Hey. Leave T'Challa, leave the Black Panther out of this.
And just like T'Challa, Tariq attempted to cheat. So, yeah, he fits. It fits the title.
But then Tariq lays it all out and basically says, listen, all this is because of your dumb ass. So obviously they're throwing blows at each other. And then Kane comes out very sideways and say, you're a punk who lets pussy get in the way of what needs to get done. And then Tariq, and then obviously, like I said, he mentioned that everything's happened to my family is because of you. And then Tariq says exactly what needed to be said. Low key, ever since I met your family, you've been obsessed with me. You want to be me. That's why you mess with Effie, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, truly, they're both taking some legitimate jabs at each other. Depending on which side you want to be on, you're going to find truth in it. But I think there's truth on both sides. But then after that, I think Tariq had enough. He swings and miss. They get into a fight.
And proceeded to get his ass whooped. This is why we said he had no business trying to fight Kane. Kane countered everything.
He didn't beat his ass because He didn't beat his ass, but he definitely sunned him. Tariq had nothing for him. Yeah. Kane let him off easy because Kane could have definitely mollywopped him, but he let him off easy.
Say,
you know,
we saw this fight a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
with Tank Davis, it was the same thing. It's like, yeah, you can't. He ain't got no business being in here with me.
I honestly think that speaks a lot about Kane, though. Is Kane has kind of turned the corner on being completely savage. I think old Kane would have absolutely beat him. Now, although he's about to throw something on him, there was hesitation there. I think old Kane would not have wasted a moment, which I think beyond this jealousy and this envy of Tariq, I think there is still a very, very, very small amount of respect that he has for him, because to want to be him is definitely a statement of like, to me, it's a statement of truth, obviously, but I also think it's like a statement.
He wants his mother's love.
Like, well, yeah, there's components of what Tariq has that there's without a doubt that this man Kane is like, that should be me, you know. And while that's, you know, envy is definitely always deemed as a negative thing, I think to kind of look at it in a positive light, I think Kane has been trying to figure out a way how he can get that same level of acceptance. And I think that's like the mild respect that he has for him, because Drew also gets his share of love, and there's nothing towards Drew. I just think that he's like, man, Tariq moved the way I want to move. Tariq got it. He confident. He's smart. He in college. He got the bad chick, but he doing his thing on the street. Like, you know, he's looking across the board. He probably thinks grass is green on the other side. That's up for his interpretation. But anyway, Davis comes in, and Davis is like, what are y'all doing? It's obviously they're fighting about Effie because that was the final straw. But Davis says, you know, he'll take care of all of this, and we get a glance at Sax's office. But anywho, I'm already lost the words now. But anyway, he says, you know, listen, with all the things that are happening, first off, let's clear this up. Everything that's happened with Theo, nothing legal is going to fall on either one of us. Really quickly, do you think that there's any bit of that potentially going to fall on them? I'm going to say no, because there's not enough time in the season. I don't think there's no reason to open up a whole nother chapter of craziness.
Not for this season, but no, what Power does a great job of is bringing up things in the next season.
Okay.
So if something with Theo happened, it would be for against Davis, and it would go back to the one thing we didn't bring up last episode, but Jenny clearly brings up this episode. We know that Cooper paid this illegal amount of money, and we know they know because Cooper told them what he was doing to get Theo out. So they kind of know that, and they know the money came from Davis, but it's not going to be something I don't think you'll address by the end of this season, but they'll probably hint to it.
Yeah,
and then bring it up next season.
Yeah, I don't know how like the writing rooms work, but I could imagine this sits on a specific table of like, remember this if we need to use it. But you bring up another good point. They're very aware of Theo's motives here, because that was never brought into question. They kept trying to say, Davis probably put him up to it, but while the case seems to be a done deal, they can't bring up the idea of what would actually make Theo do it besides Davis forcing him to do it, because your CI set up an illegal transaction to help him get out. Theo found out. Obviously, that means he's going to go back to jail, and he's not going back to jail, so he took his way out. I think it makes sense. I always credit the writer, especially right now with what's happening in the world, but I think this level of writing right here is something I think it probably fell on their lap, where they did not realize this was tightly knit of a story without it having any potential loose ends.
Because that's the way out. That's literally the way out. You got me out illegally, and I'm gonna go back in jail, and I'm dying. So now, because of you, I can spend my last days in prison because you messed up.
And not even just that. Before you go to the prison, a lot of trial that you damn sure don't want to do that no more either. There's a lot of like dealing with people that you don't want to have to deal with.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think they've done that really well. But anyway, Davis asked, "Hey, did you any luck on finding Tasha's address?" And then they said Sax probably never had it. But anyway, he mentions that he did find something. He found a photo of the police report from Whitman that Sax had taken from Davis. And then Davis explains why he has the copy and how he can use it as leverage against Monet, because listen, Monet is kind of trigger happy or kill happy, and it could be any one of us.
right.
So listen, but at the same time, Tariq said this can fuck us. And the feds know I have this because, well, Sachs know I had it. And then and then Davis just loses control. I just want to add just a little bit because I know it's going to be a long episode tonight. I just want to add one thing. I was thoroughly confused about Davis having a copy of Whitman's report. And the fact that he said this was a copy, I never, and I could just be wrong. I have no clue, but I've never seen a copy look so much like the original that it just threw me off, because I thought he, as he said, procured it for Monet, which means I thought he had the legitimate original report, which I kept saying, who helped them inside? A copy is different. But if it's if it's the legit, if it's the first copy, then somebody of some details should have said something.
Women took it, and then he hired the guys to break in to take it. But his thinking is only, I have this as protection. I mean, he's in law office. You know how many copies I can make look legitimate? But
okay.
His biggest thing was, I need this file to protect myself.
Yeah.
Which was weird, because why would he feel the need to? This ain't the first piece of dirt Monet's had him do. Like, it goes back to what Theo said. If you stop thinking you're the smartest man in the room, you won't make mistakes.
Yeah.
This was a mistake to even hold on to that file, because you didn't need it.
Okay.
Leverage against Monet? Nah, you gave Monet a better reason to kill you.
Yeah, that is absolutely valid. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm definitely thinking like, yeah, well, he has it because he has something that can incriminate Monet because of her motives for killing Lorenzo, and Lorenzo doing the bid, whatever it may be. But yeah, I think you make a lot more sense than every bit of whatever Davis was thinking. And going back to Theo, hey man, listen, they be getting in the writer's room, man. Gabriela, typically with her or with either her or Monica at the head of the episode, you could imagine that it's going to be a fantastic
I always wonder, was Monica the one we met at the after party?
Yes.
With the silver toe Jordan ones?
Yes.
I think that was Monica. Okay. I thought so. I said, wait a minute. Okay.
Anyway, Effie in the interrogation room as she pleads for her attorney 1,000 times, and they the Rico team, and I'm just going to call them the Rico team. Y'all know who I'm talking about here, but they said they've been trying to get at her for over hours, and they haven't been able to get anywhere. But anyway, Medina texts the two of them just for us to come and see the saddest moment ever in Power history. Sax's body. We did not deserve this. But hey, listen, folks, because I know you all and how y'all feel about Ghost here. We have not seen Ghost's body. We have not seen the funeral for Ghost. We have now seen another body here. So
it's still not Ghost. No Ghost.
And it's still not Ghost.
Because I know your love for this character. What was sadder, seeing Cooper on this table here, or Malcolm X in Godfather Harlem?
I'm not even going to even troll you here. It's still and for always will be Malcolm X, because they dedicated. Actually, I think it's just because of the historical relevance of it and just getting that perspective. And by the way, too, if anybody has watched the new Tupac docuseries, there's also some connections to Malcolm X in that as well, too. That just even more enhance how sad the tragedy of Malcolm X's murder is, which, yeah, by all means. I think that the characters' connections are different. But I love Sachs, and Shane is a fantastic
that's what
actor.
I was setting you up for.
Yeah.
Man, it's clearly Sachs.
Nah, I ain't going to give you that luxury tonight. But I think though, if you talk about the saddest people killed on the series, he's in my top 3. I think that what's his name? What's their lawyer? Their old lawyer name?
Proctor.
Proctor's death inside the penthouse with Tommy was kind of just really sad. And then this is an unpopular opinion, but Tommy choking out Holly was definitely sad too. She didn't
Yeah.
deserve that shred. That was just kind of messed up. No, I do not care about Lakeisha. I do not care about
She did nothing wrong.
Didn't care. I didn't care. Y'all can let us know in the comments, man. Who was some of your saddest deaths within all
Well,
the
we
power?
already know the saddest death is only one.
It ain't Ghost because he ain't dead.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's not Ghost, it's Raina. Raina is the saddest death that this show's ever had. That was, oh man.
Yeah. And actually in retrospect, kind of looking back at Jukebox death kind of sad too now. Like
because of what we've
how
seen
they're building
now
the story
from the progression of that character.
Yeah.
Because if she went dead, it'd have been Jukebox. It hit Tariq over the head.
That's why I hope Kanan really Raising Kanan takes his time, because now that we know what the finish line is, and you want more Jukebox, and we eventually going to get that Jukebox turn. It would be interesting if we still got more adult Jukebox, but and maybe we do just on the other end, the beforehand. So we'll see. Which is also interesting because you can just bring the actor back here and it still works. So we'll see. You're not going to get 50 in front of the camera no more though. That's the problem.
Shit. No, just wait. You fuck around and find out that was Kanan that hit Tariq. Like, what the hell?
Jeez.
Hey, look. Hey, all possibilities are open.
We're never going to get to this episode.
Setting this up properly and setting it up this way is it leaves your mind racing.
They could literally had a name tag of who it was, and people will still go crazy. You just know.
Say it was Ghost.
We've been doing this way too long. Yeah.
But it's always Ghost.
But yeah, we see Sax's dead body, and then we see Nigeria walk in and starts crying. I mean Jenny, which was a really sad scene. Just as she really puts into perspective, I think everything that they've been through, the feelings really hit her. What is interesting is Medina and Blanca does not care. They're back there talking about something else in the back. But anyway, I just want to say that this scene was shot really nice to give a lot of perspectives about what Sax meant to these characters, where and then we get the conversation later, but I think that as I mentioned last week in our recap review of how would they celebrate Sax, would they pour a drink out for him? But Jenny did what she needed to do, but also that's guilty conscience if you ask me, but we'll get there. Anyway, Jenny, Medina, and the Rico team, which this is the scene actually, forgot what's right next. Confirming that they have surveillance camera footage of Theo getting Sax in the parking lot. But they, shall I say, Blanca thinks Davis and Theo could have planned this. Also, Lil Jr. as well too. And then they were talking about, Davis and them this entire time was feeding the McLeans, shall we say, was feeding Sax bullshit this entire time. But then Jenny just had it. She said, "Back off, Blanca. Back the fuck off, Blanca."
Because Blanca was calling Sax dirty and saying,
she was
warning him.
Yeah, I actually want to know your perspective on this. So let me just get these last little bits. Sax was one of us. Blanca, show him some respect, as Medina says to him. But as she said, listen, y'all treating him like he's a hero. He was up to his neck in dirt. But Jenny stands up for Sax, and then she gets a fire lit on her ass and says, I am going to give Effie everything I got. Or they say you need to give everything you got. And well, Jenny's letting her know, like, listen, this is far from done. I'm turning up on these fools, and she gonna get her person. Listen, Jenny had Sax traits. This is why they got along, because they both were obsessed with the St. Patrick. And then when Sax became less obsessed, he became in love. And Jenny inherited all that energy from him and became completely obsessed. I gotta say, Jenny is now Super Saiyan obsessed, that she is about to go crazy. And I think, who knows what's going to happen next episode with Jenny, but I think she's going to play way outside the law in terms of getting what she wants. Because I think now she's unhinged. She's definitely, she has that motive, but that sort of guilt for Sax, knowing everything Sax did for her for this case. And then the letter later on doesn't make it any better. I think we're going to see Jenny just completely unchained, unhinged, and that's going to be great for power. We're going to see, and Patton's been killing it this season, man. We've been saying since her first introduction that this character has a lot of possibilities, and they finally decided. And this is one thing Power does do. They do introduce characters. This is going to be our story by Noma, and you're right. You're absolutely right. They introduce characters, let you slightly forget about them, and then say, by the way, here we go. But what is your thoughts about the dynamics with the Rico team here in terms of how they're feeling about Sats and obviously what their next steps are going to be?
One, it's the worst team since like that 2004 Dream Team that won nothing. This is this Rico team is absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. But Blanca's 1,000% right here. Why are we mourning someone so dirty? Like, Sax would sell out his own mother to get this. This is Jenny mourning and Jenny reacting that way is because she feels guilty.
Yeah.
Because in the end, she tried her best to just play Sax.
Yeah.
Knowing that she had feelings for Sax. And she knew he had feelings for her. So he was only willing to go but so far. But she took advantage of that. So now she's feeling guilty. So now she's feeling sad. Yep. So now she's acting like everything Blanca's saying isn't true.
Yeah.
Why are we mourning someone? He's a dirty CI. Literally, there's no difference from Sax and the crackhead off of BMF. Crackhead Sam. No difference. They're both dirty CIs that literally shouldn't have any credibility with anyone.
Yeah.
And to make it even better, to drive the point home even more, that letter Sax sent her was basically him telling her, I'm dirty. I did a lot of things chasing this white whale. I need you not to do that. I don't need you to go down the path I went down. That's him admitting it to her, like, I'm not a good person.
And I wasn't because I became
too obsessed. Exactly. Yeah. Like, he gave her freedom papers, and Jenny ripped them motherfuckers up and said, no, I's gonna stay. Like, it made no sense. It made absolutely no sense here. But I did like that they didn't celebrate the passing of Sax or mourn and not celebrate, because then it wouldn't be realistic. Blanca never trusted Sax.
Yeah.
Under no circumstances.
Yeah.
So her reaction is very realistic to this scene that she would.
And I also could say that Kevin Whitman probably didn't deserve it either. That's what I'm saying. It was a possibility, but the fact that Blanca and Sax had to pass, it's a little bit different because this one comes in as like a negative before it actually becomes neutral, where Kevin comes in kind of neutral and it's kind of like, okay, I guess. But no, you make good points, and I think they did handle it in a way. Again, I would have liked them to, for bias reasons, would have liked them to celebrate in whatever way it was going to be. But I think Jenny, in this ride of guilt that she's about to go on, is completely handled as authentic as a character could be, where she wants to act in vengeance because she feels like this is the right thing to do to make up for all the wrong she's done, which is also not going to make up for all the wrong he's done as well too. Like, this is a villain origin story. Like,
there you go. This is the origin story of Greg Knox. Like, this is gonna go real left with Jenny really quick, because
Jenny
she's just so obsessed, and that's the problem here. That she's blinded by the need to revenge someone who she was about to screw over.
She had already filed those papers.
As a matter of fact, she blames herself because the main reason Sax was left alone, she denied protection for him.
Immediately after that conversation, I think it's gonna be interesting going forward, man. By the way, what was I about to say? I was about to say something about something you just said with Jenny. I don't know. It'll come back to me in a second. Anyway, Braden meets Kane. Kane is driving
Alpo.
No.
Alpo killed Mitch.
No, absolutely not. Don't even dare. Absolutely not. So Braden's meeting up with Kane.
Right? I know how niggas on this show is. Did I say that right? I'm not going to correct myself about street knowledge. So if I'm wrong. But Alpo killed somebody. So I need to know.
So Braden is meeting Kane, full speed ahead. with the car, opens up the door and hurts him. And he asks him, "Is he a narc?" He said, "Did you know that Lauren was alive?" And he says, Effie, the feds got Effie and Lauren ID'd her. So anyway, Braden got hurt, so he has to go to the hospital. Back at Monet house, she's checking the mail because she got a letter from Sachs, and comes in, and Sachs basically does the most Sachs thing. It says Tariq has been working with the feds. No matter what, he basically said, no matter what, I blame Tariq for all of this. Like his death, I'll blame Tariq. Tariq is working with the feds. And then Diana comes in. I think this is also, I loved how this was done too. Diana, who has been kind of thorough, but then gets kind of emotional here in terms of saying, maybe he is working with the feds, because Diana's blaming him for her being arrested because he suggested that she use the locker, which is, folks, absolutely not. I love that Monet didn't even try to even give her a moment of even considering that, but she said, listen, just go do what you do, man, and go find out some information. Monet was like, get out of my face, essentially, because like this is no.
There you go.
Like, really?
She right back. Since she has threatened Diana to slap her, like it's been right back to normal. Like she's now still the least favorite child,
and also
she's still doing least favorite child things.
And I also think that Diana did one good thing. Now she thinks she's just that good. You know how kids are. They say one thing right, now they think everything they do is right. It's like, exactly. All right, back down, back at the kids' table.
But yet, Diana still can't tell me if Johnny had 5 apples and Monet took 2 of them. She still can't get the 3. But yet she just thinks she's the like private eye that can figure everything out here for the family.
So Braden at the hospital, and Braden says Kane should knight me, which is incorrect. Very incorrect.
Completely.
If anybody has any clue what this is, just Google it, because it's literally one of the funniest, most Suge Knight thing of Suge Knight, where Suge Knight completely runs over somebody multiple times and then pleaded not guilty for this crime. He's so complete surveillance video. I mean, it's Suge Knight. What else would he do? But like,
hey, no, man, they needed a comparison piece, and it's always Suge Knight. Like it's always Suge Knight. In all honesty, Kane whack 100 him. That wasn't a Suge Knight move. That was a whack move. To be like, oh no, I'm gonna hit you with this door. You can go to the hospital after I find out. Yeah, we on the up and up here.
Yeah, but Tariq, so Tariq's there, and he's just talking about like why Kane, what's Kane up to? Then Tariq lets him know that him and Kane was throwing hands about Effie. And then Braden puts 2 and 2 together and realized that Tariq knew about Lauren being alive this entire time. He admits that he knew about Lauren, and Braden's been saying and confessing that he's been trying to save Lauren. But then Tariq just goes off and said, man, bro, do something. Like, do something, man. Like, and I think Tariq does feel like this because Tariq is always the one making a plan, but they consider brothers. Where is Braden pulling his weight when it comes out to
the money,
pulling his shit? I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this, that let's not forget the theme of the beginning of this season was about Braden and his privilege and his lack of awareness of his white privilege. And I think this is exactly what they're tapping at again, where Braden's like, oh, I don't have to do anything because at whatever point I'm going to be good. Where Tariq always has, and that, you know what's interesting? I think Braden has never wanted to accept that about Tariq because, well, if Tariq had the game in the classroom, which we didn't get a classroom scene this episode, by the way, the game in the classroom, did we get one last week either?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, last week. But the classroom scene where Tariq absolutely is, when they were doing the little privilege.
We didn't get one last week.
Nope, we didn't. But Tariq in the privilege measurement thing, I think Braden, even though he wasn't there, but I think Braden always known what the viewers may have finally realized, like Tariq is sort of up on that privilege scale. He's black, I get it, but he's definitely had it pretty good. And I think he treats him like that, except he looks at him in a way like, you got a lot of the things I got, but you're my black friend. And I think that like he doesn't look at him in a way of feeling pity or like he lacks of anything. And now what's interesting is now Kiki comes in, and now it's not the same story, but it's the same narrative of listen, I don't get white privilege, Braden. And I think now Braden's going to start to accept like, oh shit. All right, hold on. I actually do need to kind of step back and realize, because he tried to also kind of nod at her like, oh, you're good at school, you're good at what you do, da 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 da. And then she kept saying like, no, none of this is going to go good for me. It may be all right for you.
No. Her end result was it wouldn't go good for me because I don't want to tell my parents what I did.
She also talked about the public perception too. Like she already knew like they would throw the book at her.
Yeah. I mean, of course. But guess what? They would throw it at Braden also.
They would, and I think I mean obviously the level of this crime, absolutely. But I also think that you have to kind of be like, Braden's white, he's a Western, they're gonna be okay. I think there's a little measure of that. But I think this whole episode was Braden realizing like, no, bro. For maybe the first time ever, you are not untouchable. They got your dad. They're coming after your uncle. Your uncle's also going to throw you under the bus. You need to do something. So I think when Tariq said you need to do something, that's what this episode was for Braden.
The first episode where Braden said to Tariq what the audience knew and what the audience was waiting for someone to say to Tariq. Like, I love that, and we're not there yet. That's why I don't want to bring it up yet. But I love that conversation them two have in that warehouse, because it's highly important. Because it put Tariq in a box that Tariq didn't know how to get out of.
Yeah.
His immediate response was anger, which was the point Braden was making to him. Is you're not the same kid who I met at Choke.
Yeah, Braden isn't either though. Accountability check.
Braden is
Nah, Braden. Listen, no, Braden. Listen,
he's still the get-wit that will follow Tariq and do whatever Tariq needs him to do.
For sure, but
it just so happens that Tariq became a murderer in that process.
Yeah,
but so has Braden. Turned a blind eye to it.
So has Braden.
Who has Braden murdered? Lucas? He just murdered his first person.
Yeah,
and he murdered him strictly out of family anger. It had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, else. But I mean, like, the fact that he wasn't able to execute the murder still sort of makes him in the eye of being a murderer.
That rings the truest is that he couldn't do it. Like that tells me you're not built for this because you can't do it. That's not you.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay.
On the reverse flip side, when Tariq was pressured to do it, flying colors every time.
Yeah,
like
except for Ray Ray.
Well, I mean, that was the first one. First body's always the word. The first body's always the hardest body.
So Braden on the way out now.
But I don't know. It's kind of hard when your first body is your uncle, and you pushed him over the bridge. Like you didn't kill him, like shoot him. You pushed him.
He murdered him. It's just as worse. If not, it's probably even more painful.
A murder, but it's like a punk murder. Like, women murder people that way.
I seen this style of murder on this occupies about 15% on 1,000 Ways to Die. People getting pushed off buildings.
No, it definitely does, but this is clearly more white on white crime. Like black people ain't pushing people over the building. Just not no need for it.
I don't know. I don't know, but we'll get to it in a second. And I need to really get through a bunch of this because we're damn near close to an hour already. So Braden asked for a day off. And he says, which is the most simp thing he could ever have, replied to Tariq and said, "Can I just have a day off with me, my Xbox, Twitch, some babes in a hot tub? If you know, I don't." That's all I'm gonna say. If you know, good luck. Yeah, that's a thing.
Exactly.
But anyway,
that sounds like a hell of a day off, though.
It's not. It's definitely some e-girl sipping shit. But Braden is going to go see his uncle. He said, "I'll go see my uncle when he get out the hospital." Anyway, Lauren texting Tariq calling her, but she's ghosting. And then Lauren is about to send a text asking about Sax and want to know if Tariq had to do with Sax being killed, as she has heard about Sax being killed. And then Tariq wants to know, are the feds coming for the rest of us? We get Monet and Evelyn.
Quickly right here. Just one quick thing, then we go to Monet. Why was Tariq name saved in the burner phone?
Because Lauren is not. Oh, well, it's definitely not her phone. I don't know, man. Forget it.
Because it's not her phone. That's why I brought it up. That is not her phone.
And unless she's just not in protection anymore because she done. I mean, she still has to go to trial, but maybe because they got Effie.
Yeah.
I don't know, but Kane is still out there.
Yeah,
I mean,
so she would still be in protection.
Yeah, you're right.
I was just questioning that because I immediately thought of other things when I saw his name was saved in that phone. Because even if it's her phone, she's saving his name in a phone that the government has access to because that's their burner phone will make literally no sense. So every form of communication, they could literally track it. That Lauren would have been the person that told Tariq that Sachs was a CI. All it would be tracked.
Oh, good point. So Monet and Evelyn, Evelyn comes in and says, "Where's Drew?" She's asking about the viral video. Monet says, "Do I look like I'm on YouTube?" Well, in fact, folks, we have an answer for you here. Also, by searching on Big Obel Media, you will see Monet Tejada on YouTube. So we're calling her bluff right now. But
also when seeing her on there with Big Obel, you'll understand why she answers Evelyn so quickly and sharply here.
But anyway, Evelyn says, "Stop your lying bullshit, cut the bullshit. Stop your lying, cut the bullshit." Oh, Evelyn says that the video was a confession, and then says, "I know you took out Frank. I told you I didn't want a war with the Tejadas," and says, "You're not even grieving Lorenzo. Gordo's missing. I don't know if he's dead or alive. Let's stop all the rules of the game. Imagine if it was your son." And then she said, Monet says, and which I'm surprised that Monet didn't respond in a more emotional way because that was definitely a shot at Zeke. But
that was a huge shot.
Yeah, but she just came back and responded. Was like, "Listen, the last time I checked, him and Drew was good." And then Evelyn makes a threat and says, "You're not going to get away for taking my son away from me." Kane's there, and calls Evelyn, which basically was to dismiss her. But then Drew comes from out of the back and says, "Fuck." They know Drew killed Gordo. They say they're not going to stop at anything until they find you, Drew. And Drew says, "This is my mess. I will handle it. We got to take care of it. We got to take them out, all of them." Obi, who we haven't seen in the episode, is doing some dental extractions, which, based on the news I've recently heard, that's a popular thing for people to be doing illegally. There was a news article of a person, of course, in Miami, doing dental extractions inside of a hotel room, and police raided them. And the person tried to
were they putting things back in there?
I have no clue, but I just know that the police raided them. And the person tried to
veneers.
Of course they were. Of course they were trying
for
to.
The low.
Yeah.
For the low. $800 for a set.
But Obi out here getting that check. Like my man Dr. Love, who's out here doing big pap smears, the legend.
Big pap smears. Big pap.
But Tariq asked him for extra time so he can meet the quota or get the quota met. And then he tries to make a deal with Obi. He says, "Man, whatever you need, I got you. You know I'm resourceful." And he says, "Whatever the thing I need is only Noma could get me." Obi wants green cards for his family and gives Tariq 72 hours. Okay, I'm not even going to even try to understand this. I'm just going to try to make sense of it and say, if Mecca had the connections he had, then Obi possibly could leverage that in some way to help procure some green cards. That's it. That's it. Don't care what any y'all can say what y'all want in the comment. I don't know.
It didn't make any sense of Tariq being able to get green cards.
No, not at all. No, not at all. Yep, because the next scene we got Tariq and Tate.
Or Tate being able to get green cards.
Yeah, the next scene we got Tariq and Tate. So the same question comes out again where Tate is being asked about can he get the green cards in trade for the information he gave for the bus. Tate says, "No, I want more." And then he said, "I heard that there's rumors about the Westerners doing dirt." He says Lucas got him on payroll as Tariq pleads that Western Holdings is legit. And then he calls Harper, and Harper, who has been avoiding him, but they got a conversation. So obviously Harper was a little upset about last week, but looks like they got a plan together because now Tate, Harper, and some other guy as the other guy
Other random black accountant.
Yeah, it says the numbers ain't adding up. The books are being cooked, and they said,
math ain't mathing.
Yep, the math ain't mathing. But he says, this is exactly works for some people, like Rick Sweetney, who they name drop. Listen, they're not going to let Rick Sweetney name die, and we haven't seen Rick Sweetney. And if you do not know who Rick Sweetney is, then you have to be saying, who is this name that they keep dropping? Here's my 1,000th campaign approach of what the hell are y'all going to do for this Lorenz Tate show if you're not going to give influence? Because you have been Easter egging and like laying sprinkles for this entire time. How do you not go forward with it at this point?
Exactly.
Otherwise, just fucking stop saying Rick Sweetney and
the
whole Democratic Party. Just take all of it out.
So it maybe got to branch to something else.
They got to come up with a new show. It just won't be called influence. They're just gonna have to call it something else. Or I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, the other accountant says he got evidence. But then Tate says, while I know this is a winning issue for your campaign, Tate makes it very clear that it's much deeper than that. It's the right thing to do. But as Harper said, it's a dangerous thing to go against Wall Street and what the ramifications of what this may be. So now we have Davis going to see Effie. Effie immediately says she doesn't want Tariq help. But Davis comes in and says, listen, they're going to charge you with attempted murder. Effie doesn't care what Davis has to say because she says he smells like a bottom of a bottle. Effie also says that she cannot get her call because every single time they get her call, a bunch of stuff happens, which happens to be unethical but legal, which I did not know.
Yes.
And they're trying to get Effie, the RICO team are trying to get Effie to cooperate. That's why they're doing all they can to delay her from making a call. And before Davis walks out, Effie says, does Tariq ... Never mind. What was she about to ask here?
It was something about the operation. And I remember thinking about it when she asked that question. And the reason that she stopped is because of things being recorded. And it couldn't come out what she was saying.
Yeah.
And it could be about, does Tariq know something about Lauren? Because if that's revealed, that's a huge thing.
Yeah. Or
he ain't supposed to know.
Or the question everybody's been asking, is Tariq working with the feds?
I don't think that's it at all.
Because
I don't even think that would have been in even Effie's mindset. I think she understands that, as it's pinpointed later with Tariq, like his hatred for them, for what they're doing with his mom, is too much. There's no way he would work with them.
The same thing that he said to Diana. I don't know what she would have. I mean, if it ain't that, I don't know what she's gonna say. Unless she's gonna say like, does Tariq care? Does Tariq miss her?
I think it was something about Tariq knowing something about Lauren. Does Tariq know Lauren's alive? And she stopped because can't say that.
Oh, that is what it is. Because also Davis doesn't know. Yeah, yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Davis knows now.
Yeah. That's right. So,
but remember, most of them didn't know she was alive.
Yeah.
That's the first time seeing her was when they arrested her for her death.
Yeah. All right. So
it makes sense that would be her question.
So the FBI raised Weston Holdings. They're being accused of running a Ponzi. Right when this happened, Lucas dips out. Robert Weston is pissed. But Braden comes in and pretty much confirms the accusations that, yes, this is real. I saw the books, and this man, Robert, his dad, is not happy as he says, oh, dear God, and shit is about to get real. The RICO team with Jenny and Blanca, they're and Agent Young, as they bring up, about the interview surveillance? And as they says, it might spook him. And I was like, who are they talking about? But we find out a little bit later that it is Davis. But it says like Jenny now, Jenny's a hard read right now, but Jenny's like, nah, I'm a little nervous to play that way. I think, that's not the way we want to go about with things.
No, not at all.
Right. And also Jenny doesn't want to lose to Davis again. I know that's got to be on her forefront about all of that. I mean, Jenny, the L she took before was definitely
serious, almost ended her career.
Exactly.
It was that bad of one.
Exactly. But anyway, yeah, we get the letter. Jenny get the letter from Saxon, as you mentioned. He says, it's not your fault. I know what I was getting myself into. I wanted my own family with you. I had feelings. I know you did too.
Man.
Freedom, letting the white whale go. And then Block is like, so you two really were? Jenny confirms. And I think that which was what I really liked about this is that first of all, Jenny says, I'm going to bury everybody. This is her being pissed. But I think what was interesting about this is that Jenny, I think it's hard to say, so I'm just going to speculate here, but I think Jenny was so emotional that she couldn't finish reading the letter, although we still got the narration of the entire thing by Sax. And then Blanca picks it up, and Blanca's kind of like, what? But I just think that like this was the best depiction of just Sax and Jenny's relation, that
emotion.
Yeah, we're seeing Jenny. One, she's just flowing with emotions, but she's also, as I said, she's becoming unhinged, and she's about to become a dangerous person. And then she says, I'm going to bury everybody. She is not having it here. Anyway, we got Davis and the Rico team down the hallway because immediately after that, Jenny is ready to play. And he texts Kane. First, Davis texts Kane, said Effie's a no-go. The Rico team yells at Davis. He says he's busy. And then they said, hey, we have an offer for your client, but Davis is not working with Effie. But then she said, well, maybe you should make a deal with us. Jenny brings up about Sax and what Davis did in terms of paying off the person to get Theo out. They're not, and while they are not totally sure that Davis doesn't have anything to do with Theo killing Sax, they're also dancing around the idea that he does. And then they bring up that they reviewed the video of the Sax, Davis, and Diana interview room, which I was confused about this, but I'll get to you in a second. And then just to kind of sum this all up, they basically, Davis says, no, first of all, the Rico team, Jenny and them says like Sax blood is on your hand. And then Davis comes back and says, why don't you two look in the fucking mirror? Everything that's happened is because of you all. Two questions. We'll start first. Who fault is Sax death on? Jenny. And you can't blame him.
Jenny.
Okay. Yes. 1,000%.
Because she allowed him to go as far as he was going. And she didn't reel him back in. That's the key part. And he was doing it for her. He was doing it for her. As much as he was saying he was going after Tariq, he loved her. He was going to do it for her.
Well, and this is also a very standard story of folks using CIs to the end. And one, if you're using a CI in a business capacity, having a relationship is not good. This is absolutely the fate that was always going to happen. It's absolutely Jenny's fault here. Sax has some sharing this as well too, I'll be honest. But the other question is, did you know that they can use the video, just not the audio, even with privilege here?
Yes.
I've never heard this.
I think Kane said it best when he said, oh, they don't record anything in here.
They record audio.
Visually, what do you... Yeah, no audio. So you don't need the audio. So without the audio, what am I recording? You walking around? I can't bring in an interpreter. I can't say, this is what you said. And I brought in someone who could read lips and they could put... None of that would matter. But you just recording them, it's partially because it's protection for the lawyer and the prison or jail system or anything of that nature. Think about what's happened with the YSL, real life, the way they treat the lawyers when they come in. I don't know what you're bringing in here. I don't know what you may try to hand your client. So I can record you. I just can't record you saying anything.
Yeah. No, facts. Thanks for bringing that full circle. You're absolutely right on that note. So we get Tariq and Braden. And this is the tough conversation that the two of them have, where Tariq says, we have to kill your uncle. And then Braden says, I don't want to end up like you. I saw you change. And Tariq, which, you know, again, a lot of these conversations that we're having this episode, you're going to pick sides. But I think there's truth on each people's arguments here. And I think Tariq is right. I went through life, bro. I killed to protect us. He damn sure did for you, Braden. However, it's also interesting that I also don't think Braden needs protection because I think that his privilege would have got him out of everything. But
the same privilege that Tariq brings up from time to time
yeah,
would get Braden out of those type of situations.
yeah. But he says, I don't want to be someone who killed their own father. Then Tariq Kirks and said, I've never said that shit, which I think this is some BS. I think this is some BS because I think in full transparency, I think when you are boys, brothers, sisters, whatever, with somebody, I think there's a certain measure of things you just never say to somebody because you know that's way below the belt. And this is one because he've never said it. And although you may have known it, you were never supposed to weaponize in the way he did. This, I think this was some Bama shit that Braden just pulled here in saying that.
Really?
I definitely
you said that's Tariq saying that.
I think
it definitely isn't.
I'm saying no. I'm saying that Braden's using that against Tariq is absolutely not cool.
It's the truest thing humanly possible that's been said to Tariq.
Yeah, but I think that there's certain things that you just to somebody you close with. This is this regardless of how you look at this, because again, that's a whole nother conversation. Did Tariq do the right thing by doing that, or was it wrong? That was a long conversation we had with folks in terms of him killing Ghost. Was it the right thing? Ghost is not really dead,
I don't
so
think
it doesn't really matter.
I think bringing that up to Tariq is the brotherly thing to do.
No,
if you my brother, you know what I can't do? When I notice shit of you change, when I notice that everything about you have changed, and it changed because of this one situation. It's literally you acknowledging, hey, I don't want to be the person who can do that. That's not me. And for Tariq to say, I never told you that, and him say, you didn't have to say that. That's the closest part there. And the part of you couldn't be my friend and tell me you don't want to become the man that I know I am and me be offended by it. Because I know who I am. This is Tariq still. Tariq has been playing his balancing game of not admitting the person that he is. Tariq, as I said before, this season, and the way they shoot him at times, they still shoot Tariq like he's this innocent kid. He's this kid that was just thrust into this drug game and he didn't need to be, and he didn't want to be. That's bullshit.
Now, hold on.
At this point, we must acknowledge exactly who Tariq is. This conversation was the closest person to him telling him exactly who you are and then saying, I don't want to be that person.
Let me get in there real quick, because first of all, we know that Ghost the whole reason behind Ghost per Courtney Kemp's mouth was to get the audience to turn to the positive favor of Tariq. This is almost like Tariq's redemption story with the audience. As he said, like, you all have disliked this guy for 6 seasons on Power. This is a way to possibly hope and help people come to the better side of him. So yeah, you're right. They definitely try to make Tariq always look like the good person, even though a lot of times he does a lot of shit today. But again, I think that what Braden said, what Braden is saying about, I don't want to become the person that you have become, it's fine. To hold him accountable for the things he's done is fine. I also firmly believe that there's still a certain box or a certain list of things that you just do not say to somebody. And or if you do it as a brother or a sister or just a good friend, in terms of holding somebody accountable, you do not weaponize it. And that's what he did, where he says, I don't want to be somebody who could kill their own father. That's completely malicious. There was nothing.
But is it not a true statement?
It is, but it's still, you don't weaponize.
Do you not have to be but is it a weaponizing when I'm bringing out that you actually did this? Like, it's not like something you didn't do. It's not like it's something not only that you didn't do. Literally, we've heard Tariq brag about it in this series. He literally told somebody, I killed my own father. You think I wouldn't kill you? He said this out his own mouth. Like, it can't be weaponized against you when that's you.
I don't know.
It is very simple with them two here. It's Braden saying, hey, I can't be you. I can't be that person who can easily do that to somebody. Somebody who's supposed to unconditionally love me. You did that.
I just see it.
Hell, it literally went from that to the same conversation. Tommy literally said the same thing to Tariq.
For sure. But
Of course
Tommy
you
was
would do it.
also
You
right
killed your
there.
father. What's the difference?
It's
Like he
different
let
though.
Tariq know.
It's
What's the
different
difference?
though, because Braden does not know. Braden was never told this, so that means like,
I'm sorry. Not, I don't think he need. That's the part about knowing people. You don't have to tell me you did something.
or if he was
I
wrong,
know you did it.
and if he
We
was
know he wouldn't
wrong,
be wrong though.
but if he was wrong, but no, if he was wrong though, then he'll be completely out of line. That's what I'm saying. You not only are you coming from a speculative manner and fashion, which is wrong and out of line, but even if you do know it to be right and you absolutely was never told that, I also think you're out of line for that. At least that's how I personally feel. I think that there's certain lines that you don't cross with folks. I'm sure all of us know a certain individual, or we also have stuff on our own personal stuff that we like, listen, this shit ain't even supposed to be spoke upon. Some shit happened, some shit was done, whatever, let it be. But you got folks that will literally come back and say, oh, I'm gonna use that against you. And I think those are kind of shitty people.
I didn't see this as him using it against him. I see them as him being very pointed in his conversation here with Tariq, which is, I don't want to be you.
And I think he could have been
perfect example of it, because Tariq is asking him to kill a family member he's close with. He's basically saying, guess what? You know, the one family member I know you killed, I can't do that. I can't be you because you're asking me to kill my uncle. Like it's not like you asked me to kill some random, but no, it's a family member. The only family member Braden would even perceive to think Tariq has killed would be his father. And at this point, everybody thinks Tariq killed his father. And Tariq carries that around so much, I don't even have to act like I don't know you did it. I know you did it. That's why Tariq froze. When Tariq response was, I never told you that. And Braden said, you didn't have to. Tariq froze. And the reason he froze is because he's like, damn, you're right. But then they still use the same excuse. Tariq went, think about this. Just how much of a monster you have to be. I tell you, I don't want to kill my family member. Your next response is, you need to kill them for us. Nigga, are you what? That makes no sense. Sense at all.
Right, but I'm not at the point. I mean, we agree to disagree because I don't want to spend like 20 minutes on the same thing. But I mean, like, it's the same as anybody sitting back here saying that, Tariq, you got your sister killed and you weaponize it against him. It's yes, it's true, but I just don't think that these are things that people used to be using it, especially if you don't know anything about it. I think when unqualified folks speaking on things that they don't know anything about, that's my issue is with it. If it was Tommy, he was right there. God damn, if it was Ray, he was right there. Or Tasha,
always remember
right there.
Don't say unqualified because I'm not present. It's qualified because I know you.
Yeah.
That's what qualifies it. I know you.
No, because there's folks that think they know you and they be trying to speak on things. You're like, you don't know me.
No, but remember though, just pertaining to their relationship, he knows Tariq. And this honestly, ain't shit of a surprise.
Honestly, I would even disagree with that because I think this whole episode has been the two of them absolutely realizing that, like, there's still a lot to learn about one another. Where all of this that she said about Tariq could be true, but at the same time, Braden doesn't even know himself. Braden still operates in a way as if he thinks he can exist in two worlds, where he can live in this blue collar world, but also get to play cops and robbers and drug dealing with his homies. Like, listen, you're either in or you out, which is what Tariq said to him. You can't have one foot in, one foot out. Either you're about this life or you're not. Kane has also said that to him as well, too.
That's also not true. That's a street niggas mentality of thinking. You can always have one foot in and one foot out. Most great drug dealers have one foot in and one foot out. No one has both footed. No.
Anyway,
let me be a corner boy forever.
let me finish getting through this through a bunch of this now. So let's see where we at. So Tariq says to him, like, listen, there's no being real with you. You're a hypocrite. But anyway, he says, what are you going to do for this family? You're always talking about family. What are you going to do for this family? He says, anyway, Lucas is AWOL. You can take him out. It's either him or us. Going now to the Weston family meeting, which we have not gotten a very long time. I don't think since last season. They said the assets are frozen. And everybody's like, how could they do that? A comparison to this is that they did this to the Madoffs. They could do this to the Westons. Here's something I was like, wait, I know I've heard this before, but I was confused. We do have Braden's mom and Braden's dad on different opposite sides about what to do with Lucas. And there was a little slander that went about saying that Lucas' mom potentially wanted to sleep with Lucas. Braden's mom wanted to sleep with Lucas, but they was kind of like, what? And she says it was the what they call it, the Colopian pen? Yeah, Colopian pen. It's so I looked it up because I've heard of it before, but I was like, I don't know what this is. It's I think it's a medicine that is used for ADHD, but it creates brain activity. So she tried to say like, oh, this is just her brain on 1,000, and she said it, but Becca says like, are you sure that's just all it was? Anyway, and insinuate that even the mom be getting down with the party drug. But anyway, there was nothing really to make here besides what happened at the end, as we find out that Lucas has been moving money for weeks. Small transactions. He has up to $7 million. They yell at Robert and says like, wake the fuck up. Like, listen, we got to do something about this. But Robert is still trying to save face for his brother, which is interesting because we've only seen them against each other and he's absolutely protecting his brother. But there's a lesson to be made here. That's why this is happening, because this is all being on display for Trace and Braden, who has Trace has kind of stood up for Braden, but he also stole some under the bus, as he said. But I think this is also a lesson for Braden in terms of his relationship with Tariq. But anyway, he says, he's my brother. I can't just throw him under the bus. And then the door knocks. It's the FBI. As they said, have a few questions and they are ready to escort him down to the station. And then Braden says, hey, you don't have to do this. And he says, if not me, then who? And he said, Braden, sometimes doing a hard thing is the only thing we can do. We got Medina with the Rico team here. And Lucas calls to make a deal. And he says, I know who's behind the Ponzi scheme and the drug rig happening at Western Holding. He wants protection and immunity. Blanca is absolutely like, I don't trust him. Yep. He's involved. He's lying. Him and Robert on the top of this. First of all, it's not even an investigation to understand that. Of course, the two people on the top of the whole business will be involved with everything that's happening with it. The drug rig, maybe, but goddamn, certainly the Ponzi. There's no way a person's running the thing and the two of them are not in some complacency with it, which I know that Robert knows the entire time. Well, I think when Robert tried to play plausible deniability the entire time, it wasn't until the FBI knocked on the door where he was kind of like, oh boy, well, that's
I think that's just him protecting his brother.
Well,
it's something with him and Lucas, because Robert's surprise of it. He's like, it's a what? But remember though, Lucas said at the beginning of the season when Braden asked him about his dad, and he said, oh, your dad's been asleep at the wheel for years. He has the slightest idea what we do. Like, so Robert has just been collecting the money. He could care less where the money was coming from.
Yeah.
He's the blind guy in all of this.
Yeah.
But Lucas did what we thought Lucas would do. Everybody said it.
Yeah.
He's going to always look out for himself.
Yeah. Facts. Okay. Fair enough. But anyway, Blanca, like I said, Blanca knows that they're on top of it. But he says, look into Crash Coin. I'll be in touch. As they said, they want to taste before they can agree to anything. And then they said, if his intel pans out, we can get the whole drug network, but they still need to flip somebody on the bodies, which they then proceeds to Effie. Kiki and Braden. Kiki ready to run as she doesn't have protection or white privilege. Braden promises to protect her and just needs her to turn on Lucas and to give Lucas up. Just trust him. He's not going to name her. He promised to keep her out of this. He just needs Kiki to give her up. At the Castillo bar, this is Drew and Kane poisoning the entire group of folks inside. kills everybody, apologizes to Gordo first.
What was it just gas? Was it Proforol? Was it what they killed Michael Jackson with? I was highly confused what they was pumping in there.
That's why I said poison, because I didn't even care. It didn't even matter. It really didn't even matter. But we do get Drew apologizing for Gordo, but then suffocates her. And he says,
But first she says,
oh, right. But then she says, it was your mother. Monet wanted Lorenzo dead. And then he suffocates her. Then Kane comes over, like, did she say anything? And then says nothing. But Drew does have that information, which
is weird.
No.
Very weird.
No. Hold on 1 second. It is weird that Drew, for 1 second, decided not to tell Kane, and then immediately tells him.
That's what I mean. That's what I meant by weird.
So Tariq is back in his room, and he's texting Pinky, and everybody's like, "Who's Pinky?" Well, folks, that's okay, because I have amazing retainable knowledge here. Pinky is the character we were introduced to in episode 1 at the beginning of the season. Pinky was the one who was working with Davis in terms of getting that ring sold at the auction, which when we first got introduced to Noma. But Pinky is being tasked to follow Braden to see where Braden is going. And because Tariq suspects Braden is going to Lucas. A couple of things to really quickly make here is that, well, Tariq knows he has to do the job because he knows Braden wouldn't. And even if Braden said he was going to do it, he also knows he needs to play cleanup anyway, because that's just how it is. And then Tariq shows up as he asked for the Addy. But yeah, he gets the Addy from Pinky. So it's cool to kind of connect Pinky, who had a real strong introduction in the beginning of episode 1, with being aligned with Davis to kind of, fulfill a very dangerous mission, to seeing that Pinky is resourceful for getting intel. And so this was a connect from Davis in order for Tariq to figure out where Lucas was stashed at. But anyway, Diana shows up. Diana comes in and says, "I got arrested because you told me to use the locker." She said, "I needed your help." Tariq says, you got to do your own due diligence. You know that it was hot. And Tariq also talks about the plan he put in place for the protection of her. She comes back and says, "Well, you're not. So what? You're not working with the fans?" And he says, "What the fuck?" As you said earlier, Tariq, why would he work with the feds? All the stuff that they've done to his family, why would he? But then she says, "I just need to get away with Monet. She's fucking up my head." And then Diana comes in and says, "If I transfer out of state, where would this leaves us?" So before I even get to the next part, Diana is absolutely tripping right now. She's completely emotional because her blaming him about the locker is definitely not his fault.
Not at all.
Saying, is he working with the feds? This comes from by way of what Monet got from the letter from Sats, which I don't know why she didn't just bring that up. And then proceeds to say, of all of this, hold on. But then she proceeds to say, after all of this, so what's up with us? Like, if I go to another school, because she wants to go to another school so she can escape everything. But then she says, after all of this, if I go to another school, where does that leave us? What? Anyway, what you got?
First, I'm using my memory break here. Did she get caught using the safe because of Tariq or because of Poppy?
It's definitely because of her dad. Tariq only said you can use it, but she was only moving drugs.
Remember, she said, "I got the drugs from Tariq." She literally said that. So she thinks they found out after she got the drugs from Tariq, not knowing they had footage of you doing this when you was getting drugs from your father to do this. So that really has nothing to do with Tariq. But just her saying, "What are we? We're nothing. We had sex one time." Yeah. Like, what? Why would you? How? Where's the Silver Spring nigga? She need to go back to him. Because she's making simp decisions and simp moves here. So she need to go back with him. Like, you automatically thought, like, Tariq is going to say, "I'll wait for you." And then she was so mad when he blew her off, like, "Man, I for Effie and all. And Lord, man, I'm done. I'm just out this joint smashing and going, Joe."
Yeah.
And she was hurt.
Yeah. So RSJ calls and says, when was you going to tell me that Tate blew the whistle to the SEC? You better fix this. As Tariq says, I will. And Diana goes back into the room and snoops around to find out the Whitman
You still working the
file.
rooms that way?
I guess it's Sandsville. I'm surprised it wasn't
She had a
just
smart trip
unlocked.
card. I thought it wasn't going to be locked. Because why?
But goes back and finds the Whitman file and had Lorenzo's name in it. So, So now we got Diana with some information. We also got Drew with some information, and that now brings us to Kane, Drew, and Diana in the penthouse as they are now connecting the dots, as everybody knew what was going to happen. As we know that the ghost Lorenzo had foreshadowed, saying what is going to happen when the kids finds out. So Drew's connected it all. Then Kane comes in and confirms about Monet, which she's been doing. Then they all connecting all the dots with all of that. And then Diana makes the very most important statement: is what's going to stop her from trying to kill us after she had threatened to kill Kane. Why wouldn't she do that to her? Diana, speak for yourself. She ain't killing Drew. she may kill you.
She ain't killing Kane. She gonna kill you though.
This is a funny scene, and it's so funny that my notes could never ever truly bring out the magic in this scene. Monet and the kids at the house as they confront her about lying, and Monet turns into Black Mom 101, or shall I say 1000, because she says exactly what you would expect her to say. And I repeat, this is my fucking house. I don't need none of you all
like that in this house.
But what is funny is Kane somehow, some way has to throw Tariq's name in there because he had to let her know how he felt about Tariq. And what's obviously even funnier is Kane blames Tariq. Monet definitely throws that out the window. And then Diana also confirms it right afterwards. Basically, like, Tariq has nothing to do with this. Kane literally looked like a dumbass and like he's just obsessed with Tariq, because why wouldn't he be? But like, I just thought it was funny how, like, even with all of the intense anger, that somehow, some way, Kane has to make it about Tariq. But anyway, Monet and Diana go toe to toe. Everybody's airing out all the dirt. And
Drew crying.
Drew wasn't crying. It says, you only can think about your damn self. You needed to hear this. As Monet says, the last funniest thing, let her go, Drew. Let that bitch go. Let that bitch go.
She was going the shit out of that. Monet been waiting. She been waiting to beat
We've been waiting. We already knew what it was, which was just a wild thing.
You want freedom, bitch? That's all I was waiting for.
Yeah. It was a scene that we all been waiting for, and it's been hilarious. But anyway, it says, if anybody should be dead, it should be you. It should be you. And she said, get the fuck out of my house. I don't need none of y'all motherfuckers. Anyway, we do got Tariq now paying Pinky because she was able to get the location for Lucas. And again, this Pinky who we met in episode 1 of season 3, who had the ring of Walsh. And Tariq showed up to the location. He puts his gloves on. Everybody know what time it is. And we see Braden we see Braden inside the penthouse saying, hey, you need to sign this letter for legal liability for the Ponzi. That clears the rest of the family. We'll get you out the country. And Lucas is like, well, what if I get bored? I'm not going to no third world country. He says, I'm not scared of you and your ghetto friends. Absolutely a racial statement there. And says, what if I pin the Ponzi on Robert and Kiki? That means they'll go down with you and Tariq. And Lucas is just reckless here. He feels truly untouchable.
This is the definition of privilege. He said all of that.
It's levels to this.
Anything bad
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
You can know my whole plan, and you still can't stop it.
Yeah. But then he pushes him off the building, and I don't think Braden was identified, but Tariq sees what happens and he steps off. Tariq is always around murder, like always. Always.
He's mostly doing the murders, but this time he didn't do the murder.
Yeah.
Granted, he was going to do the murder. He clearly put on his murdering St. Patrick gloves.
Yeah,
Like, he's ready.
absolutely. The Tommy gloves, which we're gonna talk
The
about in a
ghost
second.
gloves. Remember?
The ghost gloves.
The
Yeah.
ghost was running
Yeah.
and he put the Jones on.
Oh, that's
Ghost
right.
stayed killing people in all black.
That's right.
That's
That's
what
right.
Tariq has inherited.
In a very, very funny scene, we get Kane putting on his glasses because he is looking to represent Effie as his lawyer and says, "Are you
Every
fucking
time
crazy?"
I try to think this nigga smart. He does the dumbest thing humanly
I
possible.
love it. Love
Every
it.
time.
Keep doing more. Love it. And she said, "Are you fucking crazy?" And he says they don't record audio, but they record video. So, anyway,
they'd be like, "Is that Kane Tejada? How the fuck did he get? Did he think glasses was gonna? Come on, dog. He
Superman.
watched way too much Superman.
Yeah,
he watched way too much Superman.
But she said, "I thought you'd be excited to see me." And this is again put the blame on Tariq as this is Kane's plan. It says they want him, not you. And I figured out what you need to say in order to get him. And then Effie says, "I'm not built like that. It's about me making choices for myself. This is not, there is no us, Kane. I am not playing anything." And Kane walks out and said, "Fuck you," because Kane is talking some lover boy shit. And Effie is like, no,
I think the most important part is Effie here openly admits she's willing to take the fall for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is something no one saw coming.
I think,
and them saw it coming because they didn't know necessarily the integrity that Effie has.
And I don't even think it's that. I think it does play a part, but I think Effie is a loner, and I think she's playing. There's a term for this. I can't think of what it is, but like, she knows she's like, she knows she's by herself, and I think she acts in that mentality that she's by herself. She doesn't want help. She doesn't want anybody there for her. She doesn't want anybody to feel sorry for her. And I think this is the response that she's going to take because this is what makes her comfortable, no matter how dangerous this is for her, no matter how wrong this is for her, which in fact, by all of the first 48 and all of the ID channel I watch is exactly what works for the investigation team because they're going to try to provide her family.
Effie a cigarette and a Coke.
They might, but I mean, I think then they're going to play towards that. They're going to realize that, like, hey, they don't love you. They don't care about you. They'll leave you in here to rot. They're going to do everything to try to build community around her in order for her to flip. And I think if Effie flips next episode, you talk about the thing we didn't see coming.
Yeah, I don't see Effie flipping. I see Effie is way, as they said before at the beginning, when she kept on yelling lawyer, and they said, "We've been at it for hours. We thought she would break by now. You got the wrong person. You better bring a Diana back in there and get information because at this point, she gonna tell you everything you need to know."
Yep. All right, folks. Now we're getting to the fun parts. Now we have the return of 2-Bit, who shows up. How much time has it been, bro? As he says, "You still owe me." This man, popping up like
Courtney Kemp left in 2021. So we ain't seen 2-Bit since Courtney was gone. And magically 2-Bit shows back up again.
Yeah. I mean, he's been on listed on the IMDb credit this entire time. So everybody's been waiting for him. But he says, "You still owe me." But he says, "I got this letter from Sachs." And then he says, "Listen, beyond," he says, how about 100 bands plus what you already owe me?" And then Tariq says, "Listen, I can give you weapons, product, whatever. I can't really do much now. You know, he's kind of stretched thin because of everything." But then 2-Bit says, "Well, I want the keys to your ride and you take mine." And then he says, well, that's if you want to know where Tasha's being held up at, unless you want somebody to shoot your moms. Yep. And that was the convincing factor.
Then that let him know that Tommy was coming for her.
Did that really send that?
Why else would he say unless you want somebody to shoot your mom? Who the fuck? Why would that be the statement?
Okay, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. First of all, I think this is the last time we see 2-Bit now. for a while, if at all. But when he did say that, of course, now I'm digging deep in the candy jar and I'm like, oh yeah, let it fucking be Tommy. But it also wasn't completely clear who it was, because I was kind of like, that's a weird statement for him to make. It's a very intentional statement, but it's absolutely weird. I'm like, what? Why would that be your response there? Like, your mom's in WhatsApp.
Instead, it would be just like, unless you want somebody to get to your mom. He literally said, unless you want somebody to shoot your mom.
Yeah, your mom's in WhatsApp, so like, one, she's protected. She's off the grid, so like, this is kind of a weird thing, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it was completely foreshadowing, and I'm glad they got it done this episode. But anyway, Tariq gets in the car.
Yeah, didn't want that to wait till last episode.
Yeah, Tariq gets in the car. He calls Tamika. Lovely to see Miss glowed up. Tamika still holding strong there. It says someone knows my mom's location, and then Tamika says that's impossible. The location is sealed. I had the same thoughts, but okay. But he says I need protection over there now, not tomorrow, but now. And Tamika says I'll see what I can do. Which then this should automatically sent off, sort of indications in Tamika's head, like something's going down. So like Tamika being on the scene for What's Her Face makes sense. So just but anyway, Tariq. As we see, Tariq crosses a bridge, and Tariq is in New York. So he's either going to New Jersey or Pennsylvania, which would be Philly. So Tasha,
this one was.
Hold on, let me get through this, and I'll give it to you. Tasha, Tariq is observing his family, which I'm going to guess this is New Jersey, which is really damn close for WhatsApp, but whatever. But he observes Tasha, his grandma, and the cops. And Tasha says, grandma says, where's Yaz? I want her to have as normal of a childhood as possible. And grandma says it's too late. But Tariq is sitting by the car, and I fucking yell, hell fucking yeah, baby Yaz is fucking here, y'all. Thank you, Power, because after you crushed me last week with Sat's death, bringing baby Yaz back is exactly how you paid me off.
If they'd have shot baby Yaz in the back,
dead. No way. No, I know you ain't going to. Don't even say it, because I don't even want to picture it. And you know how people online will do, because it will be a meme. So don't say it, because I don't want to see it, because they'll make a meme about it. Whatever you're thinking.
Man.
Nope. Don't even do it. Don't give him ideas.
Tommy ain't doing nothing to baby Yaz. He'd kill anybody else before he kills her.
Good.
She is the innocent soul here.
Yeah. Which is, I just want to say, I'm surprised there is not more of a relationship with Yaz and Tommy on screen, because Tommy loved Raina.
Yeah.
And it would only make sense that he would have that same amount of love for the baby, but not a lot of that being depicted on screen. But whatever. So anyway, Tariq comes and sees Yaz, and he's like, oh, I'm so happy to see you. I can't wait to tell Big Mama and Mama. But he says, hey, just stay down and be quiet. And at that moment, folks, we hear the motor, and we know what time it is. And then you see it, and then immediately that blue Mustang rolls up, and Christmas is fucking canceled, baby. You know what it is.
In my head, I thought that he got rid of the blue car in force.
Nah.
I thought that.
Nah, always got that baby. But the
blue
blue Mustang rolls up
in force.
For sure.
And they kept on saying, oh, we know who that is.
Yeah. But Christmas is fucking canceled, and that's all that matters. Tommy rolls up. Tommy fucking Egan is here, y'all. Can't believe it. I know everybody's happy. I was excited too. But he comes in, he kills the two cops, and then he gets into the room. We also see a picture of Yaz, Tariq, and Raina in the background. So this is definitely the stash house that everybody is at. And I gotta say, I miss seeing Tasha, man. Seeing Tasha mannerisms, how she kind of switches, like everything about Tasha feels like Power, which is why I'm thinking if there may be trouble in paradise with Force, Tasha absolutely helps booster all the viewership with it. But anywho, Tommy comes in with the gun, and then Tasha's kind of like, Tommy, like, what are you doing? And Tariq comes in the back door, and then he says, how did you find out? And he says, oh, your friend Monet Tejada told me, or she finally figured out that your son is the seed of the devil. Really quickly here, because I want to end this show, because we about to be 2 hours. I'm tired of these 2-hour shows. Why would Monet tell Tommy about Tasha's whereabouts? And if you don't even want to even theorize that, what does Monet get from this is the other question. And obviously, wait, one more thing. And everybody in the comments, give us your theories on this question right now. Either one or the other. What does Monet get from this? Or why would Monet tell Tommy? What is the point here? Go ahead, Lucas.
She sees Tasha as a threat.
Interesting.
And she got to go. And also to hurt Tariq.
But why?
Though, even though she acted like she didn't think it, these Sachs letters that he put out, these 7-page letters he wrote everybody, it clearly got everybody running around in circles about what's going on.
I guess, man. I don't know. I just didn't put 1 and 2 together. I just don't see the point. I'm not even gonna spend no time on this one, but we'll see. Because next week, this is a perfect thing for them to leave so open.
Or maybe it wasn't from Monet. Maybe it was a letter from Sachs that he wrote Monet's name on it to get Tommy's attention. Cooper can't write Tommy a letter and Tommy care.
And also, Cooper can't find Tommy because if he could, it would be a win for him. That's why Tommy left town.
Don't Blanca knows Tommy in Chicago. Well, she's an interforce.
Yeah, the timeline. Well, no. She doesn't know Tommy's. She does know Tommy's there. Oh, okay. She has suspicion Tommy is there. She hasn't confirmed it, but she does come, which is interesting. But I don't know. I'm not gonna spend no time a while. I'm gonna go and see how they let this one play out because this is an interesting bit of powerism that I hope isn't a powerism. I'm hoping there's some logic in this, but because again,
I think it's Sachs. It could be Sachs. It could just be Sachs fucking with everybody.
Yeah, but again, Sachs sent out letters to Jenny, 2-Bit, and Monet to take down Tariq and expose Tasha's location.
Yes.
So this was his dying declaration in game on Tariq, which the 2-Bit one is like. For real?
Yeah, that one makes no sense.
I mean, you could have went after. You could have gave Braden one. You could have gave the Westons one. You could have gave Tate one.
It's so many people before I get 2-Bit one.
Why the fuck Monet get one from Sachs? That's even weird.
To flip Tariq.
So
to
weird.
Tell Monet like the whole time Tariq has been a Fed working for us.
But you know what though? I know what else it could be. You may be right. It could be that he gives it to Monet because remember, Monet, as David said, we don't know what Monet is capable of. She may kill anybody. Maybe this was like he's a Fed. We know she'll take a Fed out. Also, here's Tasha's location. Wipe the whole family. Could be something like that. And then you'll go to jail and fine. I'm in heaven dancing around all happy because
what he said, I can still be as reckless from up here. He said I could be as reckless from up here as I was down there.
Yep, there we go. Look at that. Figure that out. Anyway, they have a face-off. And Tasha says this battle has to end. And Tariq says, I love you, but I will put a bullet in you to stop you from killing my mom, as Tariq has definitely grown up to be the man to step in front of Tasha instead of beside him as she usually done. So like there's some storytelling within that. But then Tariq is knocked out cold, and the question is, who did it? We already spent the first 20 minutes talking about that, so you all can, again, at this point, who do you think knocked Tariq out? And our last thing of the episode is Tariq wakes up in the hospital. The lovely Tamika is there. I want more Tamika. We need more of that.
Hey, man, look at Tamika been dressing right since she left the DA's office.
Yeah, why can't we get
ragged in the DA office?
You're right. Why can't we get Tamika for an interview, man? We need to get Tamika.
Tamika wears all white all the time. She like Lisa Ray of Power. Time I see Tamika, she in all white.
All right. But anyway, we find out a couple of different things. One, his grandma, Lucille, right, says that, well, here's interesting. How could Lucille not identify Tommy? Impossible. Because you know why? They have breakfast together many times. And if not, even if we've never seen it on screen, if we know that Ghost and Tommy and Tasha all were brought up together, you don't mean you don't know that voice? Stop it. but we'll let the powerisms do this thing. There's no way, unless, because we've been good at this tonight, unless she purposely didn't identify him.
Really?
Unless that's what happened. But yeah, she reported what happened. All the details besides who it was. Tasha's missing. Big Mama's good. Yes, it's safe. She better be safe. Otherwise, we'll stop watching this shit. Shout out to Baby Ass.
Because what's the point at this point?
And there's no leads to worry about
to come out.
Damn right. And yep, that's the two spinoffs we need. And there's no whereabouts. And it's possible whoever did this took Tasha, and that's the end of the episode. So really quickly, let's recap all the things that happened this episode, because we got a bunch of different things in this episode, from Tariq and Kane fighting, Braden finding out that Lauren is alive, Kane hitting Braden with the car and sending him to the hospital with, I guess, bruised ribs, which really wasn't anything but a scratch. Because
ask, like, why was he in the hospital?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Tariq offers to help Obi get green cards for his family in exchange for more time to move the weight. Tariq goes to Tate for those green cards. Tate goes to the SEC to expose Weston Holdens as a Ponzi scheme. Paula shows up. Weston Holdens basically goes into hidings from the SEC raids. Robert Weston is arrested. Evelyn confronts Monet about the Drew viral video and Gordo's disappearance. Kane and Drew kills the entire family, the Castillo's family.
They had no soldiers, huh?
Not at all. Yep. Castillo's. Evelyn tells Drew about Monet put Gordo up to kill Lorenzo for the murder. Braden kills Lucas. Kane, Diana, and Drew confronts Monet about the Lorenzo's death. Jenny tells Davis that there's a video of him passing the note to Diana. Tariq finds Tommy at the safe house to kill Tasha. Tariq was trying to kill him, but then he gets knocked out. We do know again that Sat sent out letter bombs.
That's what they were.
Ginny,
terrorist threats to everybody.
Ginny, Tupac, and Monique to take down Tariq and expose Tasha's location. Tamika tells Tariq that Tasha is missing. That is it. Also on the channel, we do have an interview with Mr. Gordo himself. Eric Hernandez talks about his time on the show, talks about the state of the family, and talks about what Gordo would do if Gordo was alive right now. It was really cool to talk to Eric, which to my surprise, Eric, this is his first major role on a television show. He has tons of tons of stage and stage, getting the terminology wrong here.
Credits? What?
He has tons of stage and play work and credits as well. So he's while this is his first television role, he definitely knows what he's doing. And listen, if y'all know anything about that, think about folks like Patina, who's come from that background,
who's coming from Broadway.
So he has a similar background, and I'm looking forward to seeing more Eric, man. Gordo was an interesting character, which I told him, I was like, man, I was a little bit nervous to talk with him, man. Gordo comes off kind of charming and nice smile, and he's a stone cold killer. And hell, he had one of the best scenes in the season, standing up and next to Monet. Imagine you seeing that in the script of you in your first big role, saying, "Oh, you're going to do a scene with no other than Mary J. Blige, and by the way, it's going to get dirty." And he killed it. So
exactly.
Congratulations on that, and it was a great talk with Eric. But yeah, that interview is available now on the channel. Lucas, anything else, sir? You want to?
There's nothing else.
Nothing else. Okay.
I mean, come back next week when Ghost comes back. But other than that, nothing else. That's about it.
Yep. And next week, episode 10, the finale. Gonna have a ton to talk about. You all get in the comments. Let us know your thoughts about episode 9, A Last Gift. Hit us up. Let us know your thoughts, your predictions, your theories. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also, chime in with some donations if you have them. Any super chats, any of that good stuff. Help us keep the lights on. But y'all know what it is. Each and every week, we're here at the conclusion of each episode with your recap review show. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks. We'll see y'all back next week.